All right, since it's before the reboot by a couple of days, I figured I'd do one last season 1 AEW sucks video. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I'm doing this video is because there's a lot of things that suck now in AEW. This is not going to be like a countdown, like a top 25. I'll save that for after the reboot sometime next week, maybe in 2 weeks. But let's talk about a few things in AEW that make absolutely no fucking sense. All right, number one, you have Hangman Page. I just said it wasn't gonna be a countdown, and it's not. I just said number one, like colloquially, motherfucks. Number one, Adam Page. All right. I don't know what the fuck their plan is for this asshole. Right. First of all, like in their first ever whatever pay-per-view before AEW was a company or whatever the fuck that was, right? He wins that casino battle royal thing, right? Which is kind of like the Royal Rumble, right? It's kind of a big deal, The person that wins that gets a rub, right? They get something, So he wins that bullshit, right? And okay, I think we all knew that he wasn't going to be the first champion, right? Because he's Adam Page. But the implications were that if he were to lose to Jericho like he did, he would then become some sort of single star, right? Now, Adam Page is one of the people in AEW that I actually like, and I think is one of the people that's been booked the best, right? In many ways, he's been booked the best, right? During his tag run, you could argue that the entire tag run of him and Kenny Omega was about Adam Page, right? It was about Kenny Omega a little bit too, but the way it was portrayed was it was about Adam Page. And a lot of people involved in that storyline, which was basically Adam Page, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, a lot of them got something out of it. But I would argue that Adam Page was the one that was primed to get the most out of it. Now, did he get the most out of it? No, he did not, motherfuckers. He did not. But he should have, right? After he won that easily the best match in AEW history, that tag match with him, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks, right? After he won that match single-handedly, that should have been his push. They should have dropped the titles a week and a half later to who the fuck cares, right? And Adam Page should have been like, yo, you guys didn't have my back. You keep calling me an alcoholic. Right? They turn on him. He becomes the face. I said all this last year. Nobody fucking listened, right? He becomes the face. He starts beating the shit out of everybody. Slowly works his way up to a title shot. Loses the title shot, right? Or loses the championship match, whatever the case may be. Then, by now, he should be building up to his eventual championship run, right? Or at the very least, you do the same thing with Kenny Omega. Instead, we have to tolerate Jon Moxley as champion for probably the foreseeable future. I don't see Lance Archer beating him, and I don't see MJF being a champion yet. And if he is, that's a step down as far as I'm concerned. So what I'm getting at here is this, right? Adam Page, no direction, right? Now, AEW, reason 2, if you will. AEW is doing this horseshit, single elimination, King of the Ring style tournament, right? The winner of this gets a title shot. Once again, pissing on the rankings, which no one cares about at all, right? Doesn't matter. You could be rank number 8, right? I don't even think it doesn't even go that far, right? Like, it's very possible that the 5 top guys who are ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, that it's possible that not all of them are going to be in this tournament, So we'll see. I don't know, right? Where's Kenny Omega ranked? He hasn't had a singles match in forever, it feels like, but whatever, right? So, these motherfuckers are going to have, I think it's an 8-person tournament. It might be more. I hope it's 8 at least. Hopefully it's not more than that, because then the rankings really don't matter, right? And clearly the storyline of this tournament already is Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page. Now, this was evidenced by the fact that Adam Page was doing commentary with JR and Excalibur, and he's just there. He's not adding anything to the commentary. He's just being an asshole, just being there, right? And Excalibur's like, the participants that have been announced are like Phoenix, like Jobber 1, Jobber 2, and Kenny Omega, right? And then Adam Page reacted as if he just found out that Kenny Omega fucked his wife or something, It's like, basically Excalibur's like, yo, Kenny Omega's going to have a match. And then Adam Page is like, oh my God, I can't handle this emotionally. So he just gets up and leaves, right? What the fuck is this shit? I heard someone explain to me the supposed character of Adam Page as being like a cowboy who's very emotional, right? And my friend was like, I resonate with that. What the fuck do you mean resonate with that? My friend's neither a cowboy, nor is he really particularly emotional. But nonetheless, the point being that he's supposed to be this millennial cowboy who's kind of a pussy, I guess, right? And he gets easily shook by the fact that Kenny Omega, his now rival, if you will, is going to be in the same tournament as he is, I guess, right? This will invariably lead to Kenny Omega versus Adam Page in the finals of this tournament. I'm calling it now, right? The winner will then get an actual push, I feel like, right? Now, I'm hoping the winner is Adam Page, but I know better than that, motherfucks. I know this is Kenny Omega's moment now. It's like he took that first year to dick around and kind of put the company over, if you will. So when he becomes champion, it doesn't reek of nepotism, right? But let's be real, that's what's going to happen. Or I guess not nepotism, but you know what I mean, like favoritism. Like the fact that he's like an executive vice president, you know? He's obviously like one of the stars of the company. They expect big things out of him. So, he's going to be champion soon, you know? And I think it's going to be him who beats Jon Moxley if it goes that long. Or maybe him who beats MJF or whoever the fuck Jon Moxley drops it to. But you see what I'm saying there? In the shuffle, once again, Adam Page is going to be lost, I feel like. And that's a mistake. This brings me to point number 2. Kenny Omega, right? Now, I was one of the people that said, before AEW even started, to my friends, and in my first few videos here, I said, Kenny Omega should not be the first champion. Jericho should be the first champion for obvious reasons, right? And they actually did the right thing. Now, when I said that, what I meant was that while Jericho is champion, the build-up to Kenny Omega's eventual first title shot and title run should start the day after Jericho becomes champion, right? Maybe he has a rematch, and maybe he doesn't, right? The correct thing to have done here would be this. Jericho beats Adam Page, Jericho becomes champion. The day after that, Kenny Omega's redemption angle starts. But it's a long one, motherfucks. It takes a year. And in that year, he doesn't win a tag title. He doesn't win anything. He goes on this massive losing streak, like loses the first 10 matches. Then he rebounds, wins like one match against like Jungle Boy or something, right? Loses like 2 or 3. Then he wins some sort of horseshit tournament, right? Which boosts him up the rankings. And then he starts winning and winning and winning. And then eventually, 6 or 8 months into the company, he gets denied an opportunity through a screw job of some sort, right? And he then starts losing a little bit. Then he starts pushing himself again. Wins the next Casino Battle Royal, whatever the fuck they have in store for him, and then becomes champion at like the 1-year anniversary or something like that, right? That would have been a good booking. That would have been good booking on all sides. You have Jericho champion for a year, which is good for everyone. You don't have to sully the ground with Jon Moxley, right? Then you have Jon Moxley waiting to become champion one day, right? Meanwhile, you can have some matches with people. And then you get your golden boy, Kenny Omega, at the top in 1 year, right? It's perfect. It's perfect booking, but they're too stupid to realize this. Instead, like while they talk about how good their tag division is, they just make their tag champions an impromptu team, you know? So there you go. That's another fucking shortcoming of AEW. Now, my favorite shortcoming of AEW, I saw that on AEW Dark, which nobody watches, that they're going to have like 11 matches. I guess AEW Dark must be 2 hours or 3 hours long, but they're going to have 11 motherfucks on this one, right? One of them involves Cesar Bononi. Now, for those of you that don't know, which is probably all of you, Cesar Bononi was a guy that was signed by WWE. He's Brazilian, right? And he was fired. He's just like a big, tall guy. He's like a Dominik Dijakovic type. You know, probably has the same amount of... Well, actually, you know, to be fair, Dijakovic is athletic and he can do some crazy shit. So I don't know if he's even that good. But this guy gets fired by WWE due to the budget cuts. And guess what happens, motherfuckers? He gets scooped up by AEW, which I still call TNA once in a while. Now, this brings me to what Cookie Rhodes said before AEW started, right? He said that about 5% of the WWE roster belonged in AEW. And in other words, 5% of the WWE roster is good enough to be in AEW. Now, since then, they've signed virtually everyone that's left WWE or has been fired, right? With the exception of like Eric Young and the Good Brothers who went to TNA, probably on purpose. So what happened was, think about this for a second, motherfuckers. What happened was, they've signed fucking Ty Dillinger, right? Total jobber, Ty Dillinger. They've signed his ass. They signed Luke Harper. All right, fine. He's not that bad. I give you, Luke Harper is not that bad. Shit on him, but he's not that bad. He's not as bad as Ty Dillinger, you know? They've signed, who else have they signed? Goldust, all right? Fine, I get that one too. Goldust is a legend in his own right, and he's a Rhodes, so of course he's going to go there, right? Then we start getting to the nitty-gritty. We start getting to the bullshit ones, right? Some of them I even like a lot, like Billy Gunn, but whatever. You sign Billy Gunn, fine, I'll even give you that one. But how do you justify the signing of Cesar Bononi? You know what I'm saying? Or Tainara Conchi, who's another Brazilian. Now, do these people suck ass? No. As a matter of fact, I thought that a good move for NXT would be to create like a Brazilian like stable with the two of them and then that Arturo Ruas guy, right? Who's also a Brazilian. Like, that would have been nice. It would have been like, all right, something fresh. Like, we haven't seen Brazilians yet. Why the fuck not? You know what I'm saying? But the fact of the matter is, these were NXT jobbers. And according to Cody Rhodes, if he wants to be consistent, both of these people fit into that top 5% of the WWE echelon that are able to make it in AEW. While people like Roman Reigns and John Cena, Cucky Rhodes, right? They don't fit according to Cucky, right? They don't have a place in AEW because they're not good enough. Roman Reigns isn't good enough, but Cesar Bononi, that guy is the future, you know what I'm saying? And it's not just them. The amount of people that they've gotten from WWE has become preposterous. And also, like FTR, like garbage like that, right? Also, in this shuffle, right, brings me, like this whole problem, I should say, brings me to my fourth point that I want to make. And that is the underutilization of very good wrestlers in AEW. Someone, and I understand, I'm going to sound like a hypocrite, Brian Cage, motherfucks. I'm not saying Brian Cage is the next Batista, but Brian Cage is athletic as fuck. He's got a good look. He's actually not halfway horrible on the mic, right? The only thing that he has going against him is the fact that he jobbed Tessa Blanchard. And that's something that cannot be excused. But other than that, this guy's got everything you could possibly want. And what's he doing? He's the FTW champion, being managed by Taz, teaming with Ricky Starks, who has one of the worst gimmicks of all time. That he's supposed to be this like attractive guy, even though his face just screams like not attractive, you know what I'm saying? So you have people like that already in AEW. People that if Brian Cage, imagine this, you motherfucks, imagine if Brian Cage joined NXT. And instead of becoming champion within a week and a half like everyone would demand, he was out there wrestling Cameron Grimes, or he was out there wrestling, I don't know, Bobby Fish, or perhaps he was wrestling Kushida, or perhaps he was wrestling, what's his name? Alexander Wolf if he came back, or if they put him in NXT UK, or some other horseshit where he wasn't champion. Imagine how everyone would react. Now, I know Karrion Kross, everyone likes him, you know, but Brian Cage, when they were in TNA, both of them, and they were in the Indies, both of them, Brian Cage had a lot more support. His stock was much, much higher than that of Karrion Kross's, right? So imagine if they took Brian Cage and they put him in NXT and he was feuding with, I don't know, Damian Priest, or perhaps he was feuding with Johnny Gargano, right? Like for the mid-card shit. You know what I'm saying? If he was doing that kind of horse shit, if he was feuding with Killian Dane, you know what I mean? Or Drake Maverick. Imagine if that was happening, right? People would lose their shit. They would do the same thing they did with people like EC3 and all these other people that everyone thought were like amazing wrestlers, right? But AEW does the same thing. They make him feud with Darby Allin, right? And Darby Allin's beating his ass every week. He's beating him and Ricky Starks at the same time. He's getting his ass beat. He's getting humiliated, being a complete failure, right? Like in his first match, Taz has to throw in the towel. He never recovered from that. And people are like, wow, this guy's so great. Wow, how good is AEW for signing this guy? What the fuck happened to like pushing people that are good, right? Are you gonna tell me that there's anyone in that company that's better than Brian Cage as a champion? Anyone? The answer is absolutely not, motherfucks. Absolutely not. AEW is known for this kind of shit. You know, they bring over these guys that are supposed to be big deals, job them out, they leave. Like Jeff Cobb. Remember Jeff Cobb? I remember arguing with someone. They were like, oh, Jeff Cobb was protected because like he lost the match, but it was like a screwy finish. And I'm like, dude, Jeff Cobb had one match and he left. What do you mean he was protected? Protected for what? So he could come back like 9 months later? Remember Warhorse, motherfucker? Remember him? Remember Warhorse, the future legend? Fucking Warhorse comes out there, has like a 25-minute match with Cody, right? Then Cody goes and beats the shit out of like everybody else. You know? You can barely beat Warhorse, and he's out there beating all these wrestlers undefeated. He has like 2 losses on his record. He lost to Jericho and to Luke Harper, that's it. And Cody still comes out and is like, wow, I'm so disappointed in myself. I lost. Shut the fuck up, you know what I'm saying? Like, you barely beat Warhorse. I'm supposed to be impressed by you? So that's kind of the problem with AEW right there, right? They're not pushing the people that the AEW fans like, right? Nobody wants to see Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela pushed. People want to see the Young Bucks, which I don't even like, but they want to see the Young Bucks pushed. They want to see, like, hopefully, like, Trent Beretta and what's-his-face have done enough to actually get some opportunities, man. Trent Beretta, that guy, the fact that Trent Beretta has to take a back seat while Cash Wheeler is one of the champions of that bullshit company is ridiculous. right? They get like these two jobbers, these two fat jobbers from WWE. They get fatter, but like by the time they get fired, to the time they get signed, they gain like 20 pounds each. Not in a good way, motherfucks. And they come out there and beat all the tag teams, right? Trent Beretta, on the other hand, has been excellent for this company since day one. I don't think anybody's had more matches than Trent Beretta. I would say that he's the MVP of that company right now, right? Trent Beretta is out there getting his ass saved by Orange Cassidy. You know, Trent Beretta deserves something, man. You know, that's what I'm fucking getting at. Like, if you want to talk about deserving shit, work rate, you know what I'm saying? Trent Beretta and these other motherfucks are way better than bullshit Cash Wheeler and whatever, Dash Dawson, what the fuck the other guy's name is now. Dax Harwood, there it is, right? That's what I'm saying. But of course, that's not how it works. It has nothing to do with whether people like you or whether you're good or not. It has to do with the fact that if you were a WWE guy or a New Japan guy, you will get preferential treatment. I don't think they've ever had anyone in that company, I'm talking anyone in that company, have any success if they haven't been a WWE or a New Japan guy. I can't think of one. I cannot think of one guy. The only one you can maybe point to is fucking MJF, and he does not have success. He is a loser, let's be real, right? Maybe like Hikaru Shida, I guess, but you know, that's because there's like no women from WWE and New Japan doesn't have any women. So that's why, you know? Like if they could sign like Gail Kim, she'd be champion within like a week. You know, if they could sign like Mickie James, champion within a week. If they could sign anyone, if they could sign like Lana, she'd be champion within like a week, right? Rusev is there now, motherfucks. He's Miro. I heard that he's trying to fight the WWE, get a trademark on the name Rusev, and you'd think that WWE would give a fuck about the name Rusev. Who the fuck gives a shit? Give it to him. It's not like Rusev is this recognizable name. Give it to him. Who gives a fuck? Let FTR call themselves the Revival. Who gives a shit? Like, that's probably worse for their career than rebranding themselves. I don't understand this whole Rusev thing, man. He comes out blonde, right? He's trying to rebrand himself, obviously. He's trying to reinvent himself. He comes out as Miro, right? He's all about the Twitch channel or some shit. He's completely different than Rusev. Rusev, like the character of Rusev, you know, like when Rusev like first debuted in NXT, he wouldn't wear shoes to the ring. He was just a brute. He was the Bulgarian brute, right? And Enzo Amore would be like, yo, why you wearing no shoes, bro? Like that kind of shit. He was that kind of guy. He was supposed to be this like almost like an Umaga, right? And now he likes Twitch. What the fuck is that all about, right? So you're trying to rebrand yourself, just be Miro. You don't want to be Rusev anymore. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. It is what it is, motherfuckers. But what I'm saying is this. AEW, just like it's the haters' almost first year, you know, in the books, it's AEW's first year in the books. And in my opinion, I think you would be lying to yourself if you thought that this was a good year. This was not a good year. Like, now again, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and say it was a horrible year. It was their first year. You know, they did what they could. It was in the middle of COVID. You know, a lot of piss was thrown in their shoe. And they handled it all right. I'm not going to say they didn't. They've made signings, but they've made no stars. Even the people that they've signed as stars, like Lance Archer, right? This guy has like one match. He beats whoever the fuck he beat, right? Loses to Cucky Rhodes. You know what I'm saying? And then he has like 19 matches on AEW Dark. I forget about his existence. Nobody gives a fuck about him anymore. And all of a sudden now he's in the main event picture. Wardlow, remember Wardlow? Remember like the little vignettes they had of Wardlow being like, Wardlow is coming. Yeah, he came to become a henchman, to become a lackey. You know, what the fuck's so great about Wardlow, right? I actually think he's one of the best guys to have. But what the fuck's so great about him from a kayfabe perspective, right? He's just a loser. He just loses everything, you know? He should be like feuding with MJF already, you know? This is not working out. MJF is like a tiny dude compared to him. He should beat the shit out of MJF and be like, kind of like Alex Riley and The Miz, except like, you know, better, because like he's better than Alex Riley, in my opinion. So there you go, you know? That's what I gotta say about that motherfucks. AEW dropping the ball for a whole year. You know, they had a few moments here and there. They found a few good matches, right? And I will say that to some extent, right? Like I don't know what happened to Neville, because I know that people can travel now. I don't know how it is with England, but to an extent, a few of the people that they had have kind of fallen down the wayside, if you will, right? They've fallen down the wayside, and that's fine, you know. But you can't have everyone fall down the wayside. When Pac is an undefeated guy, right, and he beats Kenny Omega, it's supposed to be a big deal, right? And now he starts the Death Triangle, and now he's in quarantine in England, right? Eddie Kingston takes his spot, basically, right? Which might be a better fit, but you know what I'm saying, right? A lot of ball dropping has happened here. A lot of ball dropping. So it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and continue to judge, because just like I've said that it's my reboot, my season 2, it's there technically. I think they're already on their season 2 because they go by like the actual calendar year. But you know what I mean? It's their season 2 in terms of the fact that like it's their second year, right? And hopefully they can pick it up. I would expect that on the anniversary show, which might be I think they started on October 8th. I don't know. It doesn't matter, right? But it's basically this Wednesday or maybe next week, I guess. But one of these weeks is going to be their anniversary show. And they should do something, right? They should do something where something happens where you didn't expect it to happen, right? Like someone turns heel. Like Kenny Omega just goes full-blown heel or something, right? Something to look forward to for the next year. That would be good. Now, which brings me to my last point about why AEW sucks. The complete mishandling of Chris Jericho. This is the one name, the one recognizable name you have. And instead of having him continuously compete for the world title, ever since he lost the championship, he's been nothing. He's been a jobber. He's lost like every match. He's now competing in mimosa matches and losing those two, right? He calls himself the demo god, but it's like I don't look forward to seeing Jericho anymore. And it's not because of the fact that he looks like shit and he's fat now, which is whatever, because there's an appeal to that too. He looks stronger than he ever has. But you know what I'm saying? I don't like him now because he's not booked well. The Inner Circle they should call themselves the Circle Jerk, because all they do is hang out and do little Skype videos. Oh, the Circle Jerk Bunch or whatever the fuck it was called, right? Oh, they're all losers, right? Santana and Ortiz have lost every match they've been in. Fucking Sammy Guevara, he came back, now he's gone again. I haven't seen him in a while, right? Jack Swagger, do you remember when Jack Swagger was around and I would say, man, this guy needs to start wrestling? Yeah, that was a mistake. It was better to keep him on the shelf because this guy brings nothing to the table. And worst of all, like I said, Jericho, man. Jericho, this guy, he was the champion. He should have been booked as a dominant champion for 5 months. Then he could have done the Inner Circle thing. The Inner Circle being started was pretty cool because you're like, oh shit, Jericho's having a stable behind him. But then the stable became a comedy stable, right? Which would be fine if there were a comedy stable and Jericho was winning. Now he's in the tag division with Swagger. Come on, man. Give me something here. Jack Swagger, at the very least, is a former WWE world champion. He should get something out of it. But no, he's teaming with Jericho to fight Jungle Boy. So that's what I got to say about that. Luchasaurus, another one. Luchasaurus should have gotten a push by now. It is what it is. I'm not going to continue shitting on them too much because we all know how that ends. With me angry, motherfucks. So, look forward. I think I got 5-6 videos now in the pipeline. I might release them all today and tomorrow with the fuck news. So there you have it. Some of them are going to be out of date, like my Clash of Champions review and last week's AEW review. So I got to release that today, I guess. But you know what I mean, right? The point being, we're coming back stronger than ever. The haters are coming back. We're coming for you, motherfucks. What you gonna do when Hater Mania runs